Well, hey everyone, welcome back to another Wild with Tommy Farms YouTube video. My name is Grayson, and today it is a wonderful Wednesday evening. It's winter, not much is happening. We can't really get out into the bee yard and look at the bees. I did go out there and just made sure everything's okay out there. I plan to do a live stream in the future, kind of talking about that stuff. Today we're going to be talking about mistakes beekeepers can make in winter that can affect their bees. I'm also going to mention that maybe I haven't gone through that might be able to help you out as well. So number one, making very late splits, even if it's late fall. This time of the year is no time to be doing splits that can kill your bees. And you may be wondering, why would anybody think about making splits this time of year? The only reason why a lot of folks might get into the idea of doing it is if maybe one of their queen dies and maybe there's a late season queen they can quickly buy in late November, early December, around this time, especially down south when it's a little bit warm. A lot of times there's late season queens, people keeping queens, you can buy them, try to make a little split, and if that would work, should I say, I would not suggest to do it. That is a mistake that I made, and I'm not doing it again. The reason why it can kill your bees is whenever you're making these really small nukes and they're not established, sometimes they can struggle to make it through all of the months of winter, whether it be January and February, depending on where you live. Especially up north, you'd never even consider it. Down south, a lot of people like to consider it. I did it one time, a late season split, because I bought some late season queens. It really didn't go good for me. I would not suggest to do it. But I will say there's a lot of different ways to solve the problem. I mentioned in my last video about nuke batteries. Those are one of the best ways to do it. If maybe you lose a queen in one of your colonies, go take one of your smaller nukes, maybe a full nuke that you have, a 2 frame nuke, and you can take that nuke with queen in it and just put it right into the box. That's the best way to do it. Or the next mistake / misconception a lot of beekeepers do is putting heat pads or some type of warmers inside a colony. I know a lot of people talk about it. I made a video also kind of explaining that as well 2 years ago. Outdated, so I figured I'd talk about it again briefly here. It's something a lot of beekeepers like to do. I see videos of it, people doing it. And you know what? If anybody wants to do it, it's their opinion to do so, right? So I just try to explain some things that of my opinion. My opinion on it is there's no need to put any type of warmers or pads or whatever you might call it on a beehive. A lot of people like to do it. I think the main reason is just maybe you have that feel inside of you. If you do it, then your bees will be warmer and might survive better. But actually, that does not do that. A lot of people think that it would help your bees, but it actually does the opposite. Whenever you put any type of pads or warmers or even heat lamps, for examples, even if you do that, what's going to happen is those bees are going to think it's warmer, it gets heated up, and they're going to think that means outside, the temperatures outside is warm, they're going to start flying. That's their go-to key. Whenever it starts getting warmer, they're going to go out and fly. So if it's cold outside, 25 degrees, and you have a warmer on there and it gets it up to even 50 degrees, they'll fly down here at 50 degrees. And if it gets up to that high and it's below freezing, then those bees are going to fly outside of the hive, and then they're going to get too cold. Their wings are going to get frozen up, of course, and your bees are not going to make it. All right, the next big mistake, it's one of the biggest mistakes beekeepers do out of curiosity, pull up frames, especially brood frames. Now, if it's warm, 65 degree weather, 65 degree weather, that's perfect weather. You can pull frames out and look into your colony. But whenever it gets down into the freezing, it's not a good idea to open up your colony to look inside, especially brood frames, especially when you expose that brood out into much cooler weather. That can really cause problems inside the colony, and it can also chill that brood as well. So a lot of people like to go out to the bee yards and crack open the lids and kind of see if the bees are alive, and that's perfectly okay. There's nothing wrong with peeking into your colony, putting food on, checking on top, just see if they're alive or whatever for a quick little peek. There's no problem with that. But when you go deeper into the colony, inspecting them, especially below freezing, below 32 degree weather, and you're out there pulling out brood frames, that's not a recipe for success. So that's just a common mistake every single beekeeper's made. Alright, the next mistake that a lot of beginner beekeepers make, even beekeepers who have kept bees for a little while, and you may be wondering, what is it? Well, it's something really basic. Keeping your queen excluders on the colony, especially if you have supers on. A lot of folks might forget to take the queen excluders off. Now, at first, especially whenever the colony's in the brood nest, whenever they run out of food and they don't have a number of brood on there, they're going to start migrating to the top, especially if you have honey up in the supers. So one mistake is leaving those excluders on. All the bees are able to migrate up, especially since all worker bees can go through the queen excluder and the queen cannot. So the queen is stuck below the queen excluder and all the bees will go up. Now, is there a chance that maybe the bees will realize that the queen can't come up? Maybe so, but there's a good chance they're going to want to go up there and get that food. The queen's going to be left down under the queen excluder and she'll be left there to die. And then you're not going to have a queen in the colonies. Alright, the final mistake, I'm going to be talking about just one more mistake. I'm going to have to explain a little bit better, but dumping their bees way too soon, especially after realizing they have a dead out. You might be wondering, why is that a mistake? Why is that something that we don't need to be doing whenever you find colonies dead in a colony? Now, I have always learned and figured out things, and that's one thing that I learned from some beekeepers, especially, I think actually it was on one of my live streams too, is you don't need to be dumping your bees way too soon, because a lot of times those bees just get kind of frozen up and they're just kind of cold, and then especially when it warms up, they can start moving around. So sometimes it's good just to leave them in there just to make sure, so then you don't dump them on the ground and then they might not actually be dead yet. So that's a small mistake that some beekeepers do make. I kind of came across it, and I will share a little story about some bees that actually happened. Because what happened was I had my frames and the little nuke that I had, it was just a little nuke. It seemed like the bees were dead, and I didn't dump them out. But what I did do is I did put them in the sun just for a second, just to see what happened. And sure enough, they popped right up and they started moving around. The queen started to move around. All the bees started to move around. I wasn't able to save it because there was no feed in there. So that was really on me about the feed part. I didn't have enough food in there. That can't happen. It's not fake. I'm telling you. I wish actually I think I did make a video. I don't know if I have it anymore, but I did make a little video because I really did want to record it. The queen seemed like it was dead. The bee seemed like it was dead, but I just put it in the sun and there they came. They rose right back up and they started moving. I tried to put some feed on there, maybe to feed them a little bit. I wasn't really able to save them. It happened with 2 colonies. If the colony was small, so it was really no way to save it. The bees weren't dead. They were just kind of a little cold at night. They were frozen, and there's a right word for it. So please do correct me in the comments. Let me know exactly what the wording is about. I know there's probably some specific word that I probably could use, but I guess I'm not too professional on this. But thank y'all for watching the YouTube channel. I appreciate it. It's been a fun little video. I've been trying to make videos. It's hard to find ideas, so I'm going to try to come up with some better ideas. Hopefully this will help you out, especially if you're a new beekeeper, or maybe if you're a beekeeper for 2-3 years and you don't know this stuff. I hope it helps you out. Appreciate y'all watching. Go on and click the thumbs up button, and take care and have a blessed day.